New today, Iredell and Statesville school district officials are making changes to the district's football game procedures. It's part of an effort to improve safety at games. This follows a string of incidents at games that caused them to be postponed or canceled.
And one of those happened at a Statesville high school game last Friday. District officials say all games played in Iredell County will now start earlier. Junior varsity games, which are typically played on Thursdays, will start at 6 o'clock. Varsity games on Friday nights will start at 6:30. The changes take effect tonight. The district wants to be clear, these changes are not because of anything the athletes did, but rather external factors athletes are dealing with recently.
Guests will be scanned at metal detectors and bags will be searched upon entry. Middle and elementary school students need to be accompanied by an adult.
Now, this all follows a string of incidents at area football games. Back on September 22nd, 2 different Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools games had to be called off after fights in the stands. Then in Union County on the 29th, a fight at the Monroe-Forest Hills game ended that game with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. 20 people were identified in connection to that. Then last Friday, a fight at the North and West Meck game ended that game early. That same night, Statesville police arrested 3 men at a football game, one in connection to a previous shooting. 2 of those suspects were found with a gun after threats were detected online. Of course, WBTV is documenting all of these issues and the ways the districts are addressing spectator safety. You can get all the details on this on WBTV.com.